The purpose of this video is to teach you how to evaluate a 3x3 determinant by hand. But before we do that, I wanted to remind you how we do a 2x2 determinant, because there's going to be a lot of parallels in what we do with the 3x3 and what we did with the 2x2. So you know that a 2x2 determinant, you multiply the top left and bottom right number, that would give you 15, and you multiply the top right and bottom left number, which would give you 4, and you subtract those numbers from each other, and that gives you the value of the determinant. Now, notice that each of the diagonals in the 2x2 has 2 numbers in it. And notice also that all of the numbers in here get hit the same number of times. Now, that means when I go to a 3x3 determinant, if I wanted to find the determinant, all my diagonals need to have 3 numbers in them rather than just 2. Now, if I tried to draw diagonals just the way it looks right now, the only 3-number diagonal in this direction is that one, and the only 3-number diagonal in this direction is this one. So I only get these 2 diagonals, and then notice how the numbers get hit. The -2 in the middle gets hit twice, the corner numbers get hit once, and all the other numbers don't get hit at all. So this method isn't going to work the way it's written right now. So what we do to compensate for that and to make it actually work out in a way that makes sense is we're going to do something called the basket weaving method. Now, the basket weaving method is a way of evaluating 3x3 determinants that doesn't work for bigger determinants like 4x4s and 5x5s, but we don't really need to know how to do 4x4s and 5x5s by hand, so we're just going to stick with the basket weaving for now. The first step in basket weaving, which will seem a little random, is we're going to start by taking the first 2 columns in my determinant and copying them over to the right of the determinant. So the first step is to copy the first 2 columns of the determinant to the right of my determinant. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick diagonals. So I have a 3-number diagonal here. I also have a 3-number diagonal now here and one here. Now notice when I draw those diagonals, these numbers in the first row all get hit. The -2 and the 0 get hit. The -4 that's here gets hit out here. And then the -1 and 5 that get missed here get hit here. So all the numbers are going to get hit at least once by a diagonal running in this direction. So like we did in the 2x2, along these diagonals, we multiply those numbers together. So the first diagonal will be 1 times -2 times 3. The second diagonal will be 2 times 0 times -1. And the third diagonal would be -3 times -4 times 5. Now, because these diagonals are all running in the same direction, not like the 2x2 where the 2 diagonals are going in the opposite direction, since these are running in the same direction, instead of subtracting them, we're going to add them together. So this is -6 plus 0 plus 5 times 12, which is 60. When I add those together, that is 54. That's the corresponding thing that I did up here. Now, then I'm going to do diagonals in the other direction, kind of like what I did in the 2x2, but this time my diagonals are going to look like this. You can now see why it's called basket weaving, because it looks like a basket. And along those diagonals, we're going to multiply those numbers. Five times 0 times 1, and 3 times -4 times 2. And since these diagonals are also running all in the same direction, we're going to add those together. So this would be -6, this is plus 0, and this is plus -24. So that gives me -30. So this first step is like this. This second step is like this. So now we're going to take the blue number here, the 54, which are the ones running from left to right, and we're going to subtract the total that we got running from right to left. And that gives you the value of the determinant overall. So check that answer in the calculator, make sure I got 84, which is correct, and then you should be able to do the 3 homework problems on 3 by 3 determinants by hand, and then check your answers with the calculator.